Hello.
Hello, hello, Mr. Ash.
Hi, Brendan. How are you doing today?
Not good.
Oh no, why?
Because I try to find a place to get online, but so many
Oh,
problems happen.
oh, yeah, I understand. I have days like that all the time where you think something's going to go a certain way and then all kinds of problems.
But
Actually,
I
last
have
night.
yeah, I have no camera here, no camera here.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. We can do it. We can still do it. Hopefully, as long as you can see. Sorry, I'm just looking to see what's going on outside. As long as you can see the screen, I guess we'll be okay and hear me.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, last night we had a thunderstorm and the Wi-Fi went down for a long time too. Luckily, not during any of my classes. Uh, all right, let me bring up my screen. Yeah, so today, let me get rid of this thing. Sorry, just arranging my screen very quickly. There's always like a toolbar for one program and a toolbar for another program and a pop-up thing and a video screen. I need two monitors, I think. I used to have the two monitor situation a while back. Um, so today I think we're focusing a little bit less on the English aspect of it and a bit more on like some cultural stuff that you can expect when you go to Uzbekistan. Um, it's always good to know these things because, as I was mentioning to you like yesterday, there's a lot of differences in culture from place to place. I think the example I gave you was like in the West, we're very direct about how we communicate, and people here in like Thailand tend to be much less direct and pretty vague about things, and don't really. Um, they have very different communication styles. So a lot of times, if you don't know some of the cultural differences, you might accidentally offend somebody, or you might be very confused or very frustrated about something that you didn't expect to be confused and frustrated about. Um, so let's just look at a few things about Uzbekistan. One major thing about Uzbekistan is that they're a Muslim country. That is their largest, the predominant religion in Uzbekistan is Islam. And so that influences a lot of things about their culture, from the way they eat, what they eat, how they greet each other, um, what they expect from people in terms of respect for their religion and uh, practices of like praying at certain times of the day. They also have some other things going on there, Russian Orthodox, people who aren't religious at all, and other, we don't know, mix of stuff. I think any place is going to have a mix of stuff, but the one main religion is Islam. Brandon, do you have a religion or like do you feel like there is um like what is the major religion in China, do you think?
Buddhist.
Buddhist, right? Okay.
Yeah.
and I think some Taoist as well, right?
Mhm.
Um, are you Buddhist or do you have a religion?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, me too. I'm not a religious person. Um, and it's fine for whoever uh does believe in whatever they believe in if it makes their life better. As long as it doesn't make other people's lives worse, I think. All right, so let's see. Main languages is the Uzbek language, and the second most common language is Russian. They've got they
Do,
speak. Sorry, go
excuse
ahead.
me, Mr. Ash.
Mm.
Do they speak in English?
Um, well, I was talking to Atik about this because we were actually a little bit not sure. Yeah, what you were wanting to do with English in Uzbekistan. There are people who speak English there, but as you can see, it's not one of the like main three top languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we think they speak in Russian.
They speak their Uzbek language, and then Russian is like the second main language. Yeah.
Uzbek language is their native language, right?
Yes.
What's the difference between Uzbek language and Russian?
Um, since I'm not like familiar with those languages, like I'm not deeply familiar with those languages at all. I couldn't tell you the exact differences, but I would venture to say that like, well, for instance, like in China, right? Like China is a very large country. And Hong Kong, although it might be a part of China, is pretty different from most of the rest of mainland China. And so as far as I'm aware, like people in Hong Kong speak Cantonese,
Mhm.
and most of the rest of China speaks Mandarin Chinese. And from my understanding, it's quite different. Atik just dropped some sort of PDF here. Hold on, let's see what this is. I would say, they're probably pretty
Oh.
different, but they are also places that are close together, so there are probably a lot of Russian people living there, moving there from various places. Okay, so here's a little bit of help. Uzbek is a member of the Turkic language, which also includes Turkish, Kazakh, I forget how to say that, Kyrgyz. Um, Russian belongs to Slavic language family, including Polish, Ukrainian, Bulgarian. So they're very distinct languages, but most likely because of where Uzbek is in relation to Russia, um, or because of their industries, people are probably moving there from Russia, and that has influenced the language. That's my guess, anyway. I really honestly couldn't tell you exactly, but I would strongly guess that people who speak Russian or have emigrated there for various reasons. So actually that brings me to a question, because so what was your idea with learning English for Uzbekistan? Like, what was your understanding of why you would need English there?
So I think because I think they may talk about they may talk in English. So maybe some people talk in English,
Okay.
and
All right.
maybe since they speak Uzbek or Russian, maybe we will look for a translator for help.
Mm, okay.
Mm. Because not about big win after my boss called me that we will pay a visit a business trip to Uzbekistan. Um, I'm I would like to get prepared.
Yes.
Not only language. My English, oral English. I would like to know many aspects of Uzbekistan.
Okay.
Language is just a part of it.
Okay. All right. Well, at least we're a little bit more clear on the reasons. Okay. Okay. Well, that's
And I
fair.
and I also search for some informations about Uzbekistan, and I found that there are a lot of Chinese
Oh.
uh, in Uzbekistan.
Yeah, I mean that probably makes sense because you're geographically pretty close. And industry probably brings a lot of Chinese people there.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if it's the same in Uzbekistan, but for instance, like here, if you're looking to connect with other Chinese people or with even English-speaking people, there's usually a lot of oh, um, like local Facebook groups that you can join. But now I'm also remembering that like you probably don't have access to Facebook in China, right?
Mhm.
Do you have Facebook in China, or is that still not
No, no,
available?
I have no Facebook.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I was gonna say that can sometimes be very helpful, because you can find local groups of people who have similar interests or speak the same language, um, and meet up with them there. Do you know how long you're going to be in Uzbekistan?
How long?
Yeah.
Maybe 1 week.
Oh, just a week. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, you'll probably be pretty busy with your work and stuff and the people that you're there with anyway. So, um, all right. Well, I did include a few of also the English to Uzbek, some common things you can use here. You may have to look up how to pronounce these, though. I'm not honestly sure how to pronounce this one. Uh, may have to find a video for you on that. Um, but I know this is like salam. Salam is like a very common way to say hello, or assalam alaikum, which is like especially common for people who are Muslim to use. Uh, rest of this I don't know, but I can always find out. All right, let me go down here. All right. Actually, sorry, give me a minute. I closed my screen. Um, okay, so this little tidbit about some of their traditions and their festivals. Um, Novruz is a Persian New Year festival. So they celebrate it around March 21st, the first day of spring. So it's actually that's interesting. I know Chinese New Year is Lunar New Year is
Yes.
also called Spring Festival. It
Mhm,
happens in later in January or February, depending on the year.
mhm.
Uh,
But they celebrate New Year on around March
yeah,
20. Mm,
yeah.
March.
Theirs actually happens close to spring. I've always been a little bit confused about why Chinese New Year is called Spring Festival, since it's not spring yet. It's still winter. Um, but this one is actually close to spring, close to spring. One of the most important cultural festivals with traditional food and dance and rituals. Their Independence Day is September 1st. This explains the language. I forgot about this fact from when I was creating the slides. Um, their independence from the Soviet Union. So at one point, the Soviet Union had control over the country, and that's why second language is Russian. Um, because they've been a mixed culture due to the Soviet Union controlling that country for some time. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of how like Vietnam was controlled by taken over by the French for a long time, and so now Vietnam still has a lot of French cultural influence in their country with the French foods and different things. All right, religious celebrations. Mostly, yeah, all of these basically are tied to Islam. Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, um, Muhammad's birthday, all things related, importantly, to their religion. Just like we have in Thailand, we have the Lantern Festival every year, and millions of other holidays because Buddhism has a lot of holidays. What do you feel is like the most important holiday in China?
Mm, The most important festival in China is also the Spring Festival.
Okay,
Mm,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I always find it interesting that we have these big festivals in other parts, like here in Chiang Mai in New York City, um, for the Spring Festival, and people like me and other non-Chinese people love it. And everybody who's from China or who's Chinese stays home, has a nice dinner with their their family and their friends. Um, but yeah, I take it it's very important from my experience with knowing a lot of Chinese people. Oh, um, I don't think we're ready for that question just yet. Um, Greetings. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to greet people depending on where you are. In Thailand here, we have the Y greeting with the hands together and a little bit of a bow. Um, they don't typically shake hands here unless maybe it's for business, and even then, I think they usually defer to the Y. Um, but in Uzbekistan, they do a handshake, and they usually put one hand on the heart and use the other hand to shake. How about in China? If you're doing a business deal, or you're meeting somebody new in a professional setting, how would you greet them?
Say hello and shake hand. Shake hands. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty standard, right? So theirs is just a little bit different. It's probably good to know. Um, Often accompanied by a slight bow of the head, especially in rural areas. Rural areas means like outside the city in the country area. If it's close family and friends, a hug or a cheek kiss, uh, kind of like the Europeans do, is common. And as we had already mentioned, salam. Salam is the common way to say hello in Uzbekistan. Hi Jessica, how are you? Are you? Oh, your sound is off.
Hi,
Hi.
sorry, I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. Yeah.
That's okay. Um, oh, somebody else came. Okay. Just so you're aware, I you came in and we're talking about all this this stuff. I We're focusing a bit more on cultural things in Uzbekistan because that's where Brandon is traveling to. So the focus will be a little less on, well, quite a bit less on actual English learning today. So if you feel like that's not useful for you, that's up to you what you want to do with that information.
Okay.
Okay. Um, okay. Dining etiquette. Yeah, like whoops. Uh, in Thailand here, lots of people will usually eat together. Um, you don't see a lot of people eating by themselves or like uh, sometimes you'll see two people eating together, but it's usually like a pretty big group and they'll get together and they love to eat either hot pot or barbecue of some sort, but Thai style. And in Uzbekistan, let's see, what do they do? There's some rules too. It's customary to eat with your right hand. The left hand can sometimes be considered unclean. Uh, I'm not sure the exact reason they think the left hand is unclean. I know in some places, like they specifically only use like one hand for cleaning themselves after using the bathroom. So that might be a reason. Um, Whatever their reason, it's a good thing to keep in mind. If you eat with someone from Uzbekistan, default to your right hand. Brandon, are you left-handed or are you right-handed? Which hand do you use the most?
No, right hand.
Right hand. Okay, so that'll come naturally then. That's good. All right. If invited to a meal, guests are often offered a variety of traditional dishes, such as pilaf, rice pilaf, Oh, I know that one. That one's good. Shashlik, skewered meat, and samsa, savory pastries. So it may taste quite a bit different from Chinese food or from Thai food, but it's certainly not that different in style. Rice, meat on a stick, and some bread. Sharing food is very important to them. It's considered very impolite to refuse food if you are offered food. I think that's fairly common in most places. Like, even in America, if somebody offers you food, I mean, we still are a bit more direct about it, and but, and we'll, if we have like a really good reason why we can't eat it, then we'll try to say so in a polite way, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm allergic to this kind of food, I can't eat it. Um, but thank you very much for the offer. So yeah, like if it's a health or a safety concern, obviously don't just eat what they give you, but just be kind about it and let them know. Their bread looks very interesting, very colorful, and they put pictures on it. Nice design. What are some things in China that are like dining etiquette? I know one thing is you're not supposed to put your chopsticks down in the bowl like this. Hello? Anybody there?
Hello.
Hi, Jessica. Um, Maybe you have something to say. I was asking, like, what are some dining etiquette things in China? Like, I know you're not supposed to put your chopsticks down in the bowl like this.
Yes.
What is considered?
Like eating hot pot.
Mm,
Something spicy hot pot, or I don't know how to say. Sorry.
that's okay. Um, so yeah, it's common for lots of people, friends or family to gather and eat hot pot together.
Yeah.
What would be considered a rude thing to do? Like, what's bad etiquette at the dining table in China?
What food? Meat or some vegetables.
No, I'm saying when you're having dinner together with people in China,
Mm-hmm.
what is considered like bad etiquette? Like, I know you should not put your chopsticks down in the bowl, like leave them like that.
Yes.
Yes.
That is implied.
Yeah, yeah. So is there anything else that you can think of that is like not polite or not good thing to do in China when you're eating together?
Another implied another thing will be also considered implied is that we get food from your side with my chopsticks.
Oh, yeah, okay. Reaching across the table.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah, stay on your side. All right.
So,
Uh, sorry.
Mr. Ash, I have a question here.
Sure.
I noticed that sharing food is important and it is considered implied to refuse food offered by a host.
Mm,
Uh, if I went to uh, you Uzbekistan and
mm.
we meet we meet maybe our partner
Yes.
and we will have a dinner together, right?
Mm.
And if they offer me the food that I don't like to eat, what should I do?
I understand. Oh, somebody's putting what? Oh, sorry. Atik just dropped some additional information in our chat. Moment. Okay. Um, I was, I would say that, you know, in most cultures, it's considered somewhat impolite to refuse food. But again, if it's something you don't like, or if it's something that um, is bad for your health, like you're allergic to something, I think it's okay to say that. Maybe, you know, just find a polite way to say, like, thank you so very much for the offer, but would you mind if I don't eat this thing because it will um,
Because
cause
some
me
reason. Mhm.
for whatever reason. Yeah. I mean, you could maybe, even if it's not an allergy, like it doesn't, maybe you could just say that, like, you have a health issue and you can't eat that food.
Mhm.
Um, Usually that's what people do, like in the US and other places, I think. As long as you're polite. Oh, here's another. Teek's just dropping knowledge over here. Hold on a second. Uh, Open. Uh, yeah, here's some things. So I feel like Teek's like furiously typing into Chat GPT right now. Yeah, so just be polite. Like, I thank you so much, but I'm trying to avoid this kind of food right now, or I feel very full. I can't eat anymore, but thank you. Um, it's always good to use polite words. Thank you. It was delicious. Just shower them with polite words and compliments to offset the fact that you don't want to eat that particular food. Thank you for offering. That's so kind of you. But um, yeah, I mean, this says don't go into too much detail, which, sure, like you don't want to say like, oh, um, like if it's a taste preference, especially, you want to say like, I really don't like this kind of food. Um, just give them a short, polite, easy answer. I really appreciate it, but I'm full. Uh, it looks delicious, but I can't eat this type of food. Hey, it's polite to bring a gift if you're visiting somebody's home. I think that's pretty common in most places. Even in America, if I go over to a friend's house, it's nice to bring some food or a bottle of wine. Common gifts in Uzbekistan are fruit or sweets or even flowers, depending on the situation. It's considered respectful to offer a gift with both hands and to open the gift in front of the gift giver. Okay, so we don't just, if somebody gives you the gift, that's good advice to take it and open it in front of them. They don't want you to take it and and leave it wrapped and take it home. They want to see you open it and enjoying your gift. How about in China? What if you go over to somebody's house, do you usually bring something?
Yes.
Yeah, like what kind of stuff would you bring?
Uh, Usually fruits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jessica, how about you?
Yes, like some fruits or some flowers.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a common thing. Not hard to remember something like that since it's common in your culture also. Uh, everybody likes gifts and everybody likes food. And flowers are always nice. Okay, actually I have a video. Let me not do this right now. See if I can share other screen. Uh, it's not terribly long, but it's some brief information that can help us out here. It's maybe 10 minutes or a little bit less, because I'm starting it a little bit later on in the video. We didn't really need all the first part. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the sound though. Whoa. Gonna play? Oh, sorry, hold on.
The predominant ethnic group in Uzbekistan is the Uzbeks, making up around 80% of the total population of 33 million people. Uzbeks have historical roots in Turkic nomadic tribes that settled Central Asia between the 1st and 13th centuries AD. Besides Uzbeks, there are several sizable minority ethnicities. Tajiks comprise around 5% of citizens, concentrated in Samarkand, Bukhara, and the Surkhandaryo region. Other groups include Russians, Tatars, Kazakhs, Karakalpaks, and a small number of Koreans. Overall, Uzbeks form a majority demographic profile across most of the country. Around 90% of Uzbekistan's citizens identify as Muslim, mostly adhering to the Sunni branch. Islam came to Central Asia beginning in the 8th century AD. Besides Islam, other sizable religious minorities in Uzbekistan include Eastern Orthodox Christians, Protestants, Jews, and others. While constitutionally a secular state, Uzbekistan is deeply influenced by its Islamic cultural heritage. However, strict state control over religious institutions limits more conservative or fundamentalist Islamic movements from gaining ground. The Uzbek language is part of the Turkic family and serves as the shared mother tongue for Uzbek and other ethnic minorities across Uzbekistan. As a former Soviet republic, Russian is still widely used in government institutions, higher education, and urban centers. Many business and cultural exchanges involve using both Uzbek and Russian languages. Tajik Persian is also natively spoken among Tajik minority populations. With influences from the ancient Silk Road, combined with nomadic culinary traditions, Uzbek food offers a delicious diversity of flavors. Here are some signature dishes that give Uzbekistan its distinct cuisine. First up, akichuk, a hearty meat, vegetable, and noodle soup spiced with chili peppers and garlic. This soup is bursting with taste and is often considered Uzbekistan's national dish. Legend says it was created to fuel warriors heading to battle with nutrients and warmth from its bone broth base mixed with hearty ingredients. Another beloved staple is manti, tasty steamed dumplings stuffed with lamb, onions, and spices. These bundles of flavor are typically served topped with garlic sauce and sour cream or in a broth soup. Their petite size makes manti perfect as appetizers or a dim sum-style meal. Then there's chuchvara, pan-fried meat dumplings with a crispy, juicy exterior enveloping seasoned lamb or beef. Chuchvara make for quintessential Uzbek street food or late-night snacks, often sold from food carts. Their crispy skin gives way to a burst of savory juices when you bite into the soft filling. Obi non flatbread has accompanied many meals in Central Asia for centuries and remains popular in Uzbek homes today. This simple bread, traditionally baked in clay ovens, is the perfect vehicle for dipping into rich stews and sopping up flavorful sauces. Uzbekistan has a rich history shaped by its strategic location along the famous Silk Road trading route. Numerous kingdoms and empires have ruled over the region's cities and oases for over 2,500 years. Let's explore some key eras and events in Uzbekistan's long history. The first major settlements in what is now Uzbekistan emerged around 500 BC. Agricultural communities developed around oasis areas, while nomadic herding was common in desert regions. Between the 8th and 3rd centuries BCE, Uzbekistan fell under Achaemenian rule as part of the Persian Empire. This was followed by conquests by Alexander the Great and later Seleucid kings and the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. From around 100 BE to 1000 CE, Uzbekistan sat along the developing overland Silk Road trading network between China, India, and Europe. Merchants set up posts in cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva, bringing economic prosperity. The Arab conquest of Central Asia brought Islam to the region in the 8th century CE. Over the next centuries, parts of modern Uzbekistan were controlled by caliphates based in Baghdad. The Persian Samanid Empire later took control. Islamic architecture, art, and science thrived in cities like Samarkand under patronage. The Mongol invasions in the early 1200s devastated parts of Central Asia. Rule by Timur in the late 1300s brought a revival. The expansion of Russian control during the 1800s gradually absorbed Uzbekistan into the Russian Empire. Central Asia saw economic development, but also repression under Soviet policies after the Communist revolutions in 1917. During this era, Uzbekistan's modern borders were defined as the Uzbek Soviet Socialist Republic. Independence came in 1991 after the dissolution of the weakened Soviet Union. As one of 15 Union republics under the USSR, Uzbekistan's economy emphasized central planning, industrialization, and communal farming. Cotton dominated agriculture due to state quotas, and irrigation networks expanded harvests across arid lands through the 1960s. But eventually, soil salinization and pollution hurt yields. Since independence in 1991, Uzbekistan has slowly transitioned from communism towards free market policies by privatizing state-owned enterprises. But economic ties and trade with Russia and other former Soviet countries still shape business relationships. From copper, gold, uranium ores to massive natural gas reserves, Uzbekistan's diverse mineral deposits promise future prosperity. Just look at these stunning murals depicting the country's resource endowments and production heritage. Uzbekistan also claims to have the fourth largest reserves of gold in the world. Combine this with reserves of silver, zinc, tungsten, and other precious metals buried under its soil, and this country has some shiny economic hopes ahead. Today, its GDP sits at $69 billion. Uzbekistan is a country defined by its beautiful architecture, seen across intricate mosaic tiles, towering minarets, and magnificent mosaic structures. Shaped by Persian, Arab, and Turkic cultural influences over centuries, Uzbekistan's architecture tells a captivating historical story from ancient times to today. Some of the world's best surviving examples of early Islamic architecture sprawl across Uzbekistan's famous Silk Road cities of Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva. Flourishing from the 8th to 17th centuries, under dynasties like the Timurids, mosques, madrasas, mausoleums, and ornate public buildings featured stunning geometric mosaics on turquoise tiled exteriors and towering, intricate minaret spires that drew the eye skywards. The Registan Square in Samarkand stands out as a majestic architectural treasure showcasing this golden era of Uzbek design. 20th century Soviet urban planning and social housing dominates parts of Tashkent and other large cities, adding utilitarian communist blocks juxtaposing older neighborhoods. But some Soviet-era buildings exemplified avant-garde creativity, like the Brutalist Palace of International Forums. Since independence, Tashkent's modern cityscape has expanded with contemporary styles, like the National Bank headquarters' oval shape, resembling Uzbek folk art motifs. Conserving Uzbekistan's architectural abundance remains vital for tourism and posterity. Restored sites like the ancient cliff dwellings in the desert outskirts of Khiva and Bukhara's Old City display preservation efforts helping UNESCO protect Uzbekistan's sites for future generations. Meticulous mosaic tile repair supports traditional artisan technique survival as well. From antiquity to today, Uzbekistan's structural beauty visually shares a national legacy with the world. If you enjoyed this video on Uzbekistan, you'll love this next one.
Okay. Whoa, my video's still going. I paused it. Stop. All right. So Brandon, did any of that food look good?
Yeah.
I think so too. It looked really good. So dumplings, just different kind of dumplings and lots of good stuff in there. All right, we are out of time. So let's see, there's a homework assignment for you guys to research. Not extensive research, obviously, but to look up an Uzbek festival or tradition that we didn't discuss in the class, and just learn a little bit about it and write a little report on describing what it is, what it's about, and I will bid you guys adieu. Jessica,
Okay.
what are you doing the rest of the day? don't know. Brandon, what are you doing the rest of today?
Oh, I have to take care of my father at the
Oh.
hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Mm.
Well, I hope you have some moments of joy as well today, and I guess maybe I will see you again soon.
Okay.
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 Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.